Today, I would like to talk to you about my quest to keep my energy costs down. At the moment, I'm living on a fixed income, and so every little tick up means the less I can do with my money because these energy costs have to be paid. And my energy costs, last year, I was watching, in this past year, I've been watching the energy prices keep going up, and I signed up for one of those alternate energy companies that give you a little bit less, your rates are a little bit less, and I was surprised because they were telling me that energy costs were going up like another 3 cents per kilowatt hour or something like that. So I signed up for that so that I could keep the energy price virtually the same, and my energy use has gone down since last year, same time, but the price has ticked up about $19 for the same time last year. However, what I decided to do, because I can't do anything else, I decided to limit the use of my energy as much as I could. So last year I kept my thermostat at 68 degrees for the house, and that works well. And that, even though I live in a brick and lath and plaster house, this house is 75 years old. It's 5 years older than me. And so there's virtually not really insulation. The brick heats and cools slowly, so it's not too horrible, and I love the house, and it's very well made and very well organized. I mean, it's a beautiful little house. However, it can be very chilly in here. And I have a high efficiency heating system, but it's older. So what I decided to do this year, coming into this time, and right now it's 5 degrees outside, and I just snow plowed my driveway, and I'm going to put up that video. Snow plowed it yesterday, got rid of 2 inches, and then came out today and got rid of the other 2 or 3 because it snowed overnight. So I only cleared part of it yesterday. Which is important because the snow was already crunchy, and that means that it's turning into to ice, at least on the top. And you want as little snow on your driveway as possible, because until the snow starts to melt, which it probably will warm up a little enough, above 32 degrees anyway, and the snow will melt. But if I have to go out in my car or something, I don't want to be sliding around on ice. That's not good. Last year, as I said, I started keeping my thermostat at 68, and with costs going up, I decided that I needed to turn my heat down to 65. And I thought, yeah, that's going to be cold. So I decided this year to do this. Do you see the plastic over the door there? What that does is it keeps the majority of the warm air from going into the living room. And I covered the warm air register because I have an old house, and so the registers, they come out of the floors. And so I can just put a piece of plastic over the warm air register, but leave the cold air return free. And then what I do is, I did that in the 2 bedrooms downstairs, not in the bathroom, because that's probably the warmest room in the house. It sits directly over the heating unit in the basement HVAC system. So putting the plastic here actually cordons off this room from getting a lot of heat. It's still not freezing outside, but it's much colder. I'm in here because I wanted to show you the plastic. And then my house is so beautifully designed that every room in my house has an entrance off of my 15-foot long hallway. So I can pull the doors closed and keep the majority of the air out of the rest of the house. And I mostly during the day am in the kitchen dining room area. And then I go upstairs to the attic, which I made into a bedroom when I moved in here. So that my last bill was for December. I just paid that. It was $208, which is higher than last year, but actually the chart shows on the bill that they send that I've actually used less energy. So that's my idea. I heard one time that every degree that you turn down your thermostat is an extra savings of $5. It's probably an extra savings of more than that now, but I think that that's certainly is true. So that's what I do. And now that's for my house. And then for me, when I'm home, which I usually am, I don't usually only go out a couple times a week. I wear wool socks on my feet. The best wool socks that I've found to keep my feet warm are called 30 Below socks, and you can buy those at Vermont Country Store, or Amazon has them as well. I think they're a little cheaper on Amazon. And they're fabulous, or any wool socks really, but the 30 Below are made for people to put in boots that are going out in the snow and stuff like that, and they're really, really good. So if you can afford those, buy them. They're $20, $25 a pair, but they're well worth the expenditure in my view. The next thing I do is I have merino wool leggings that I put on underneath my pants, and I usually wear jeans in the wintertime. And I have one pair of merino wool, and I have a pair of blended wool leggings from Amazon. And right now they're about this time of the year, Christmas time, everything goes up a little bit, and they're about, just the leggings are about $40 on Amazon, and up to $50. And I really only use the bottoms. I don't use the tops. That makes me too warm. I wear sheepskin slippers. And if you can't afford sheepskin slippers, because they are expensive, and I've bought several pairs over a lot of time, I kind of save up and buy, and I have all the colors that I can use, which is basically like a gold tan color and navy blue, and those are very helpful. And then when I'm home, I wear nice thicker robes. Now these are just polyester, but with a sweater on underneath, and a nice thick robe when I'm sitting down to cover my knees. I'm quite comfortable. And in the warmer part of the house, where I mostly walk through the living room, I do videos in here, but I don't spend a lot of time sitting around in here usually. And so with my heating system the way it is, with all the doors and in the hallway pulled to, I'm very warm in the other room. The temperature over there stays about actually 67 or 68, because all of the available warm air is really, most of it's coming into the hallway and the kitchen and the dining room. So that works really well. And then upstairs, and I also have a little small little heating unit that I put next to my feet when I'm in the the dining room. I have my computer there on the table, and if it gets a little too chilly for me, I just turn on that heating unit on, and it's important to say that if you have to look for a heating unit that pulls, most of them are like 1200, 1500 watts, and you don't want that many watts on all the time, and I don't leave it on all the time, the one I have, but you want one that's small, that has a range. That usually there are only 2 different settings, but you want one that can do 400 watts or 1000 or 500 watts and 1200. Apparently they just don't make as many of those. They're usually just like full on 1200 watts, and that's too much. So be careful what you buy, and of course most people just go on Amazon and buy these things, but I've looked at all of these things, and I know kind of what the range is. And so then upstairs, I only have one heating vent that goes upstairs into my attic bedroom, and there's not really a good return. So for the air, there is no return for the air, so it's not very efficient. It does keep the room a little bit warmer, but mostly, and I do have a big electric fireplace up there with, of course, with the heating unit in it. And if I'm going to be up there and sitting in my grandpa's rocker, my grandpa's carved oak platform rocker, I turn on the little fireplace, and then it gives me the ambiance of having a fire, and it's nice and warm and toasty. And then when I go to sleep at night, and I don't turn down the heat, because 65 is turned down. So on my bed years ago, I bought an LL Bean wool blanket, and I waited until it went on sale in January, and it was, I think that one was maybe a little bit more than $100, but maybe about $100, which I know is a lot for a blanket. But if you're looking at wool blankets on LL Bean these days, they're $300 for the same blanket. So if you don't have a wool blanket and you would like to have one, and I highly recommend them. I'm in Ohio now, but even in California, my mom always had a wool blanket on each of our beds in the wintertime. And it just keeps the bed so lovely and warm. Once you get in and once you warm it up, if you get up in the middle of the night and you have to go to the bathroom, you come back and your bed is still lovely and warm. So I highly recommend getting a wool blanket to put over. I mean, I have a wool blanket and one polyester blanket and some fuzzy fleece sheets on my bed, and it's like sleeping in a teddy bear. I love it. And that keeps me perfectly warm. So I don't know if most people wouldn't go to the lengths that I do, but I need to be able to take care of myself, and I'm not going to be able to. I've had heating bills in this house over $300 in January and February. The 3 coldest months here are December, January, February. So we'll see what the next bill is. So and I'm hoping that it's not going to be much more than this December bill, because it's been quite cold here, colder than usual. This part of Ohio, which is the southwestern tip of Ohio, tends, for whatever reason, to be not warm in the wintertime, but warmer. And we get snow, but we get less snow. Like, we got hit with 5 inches yesterday, and I'll bet you that northern Ohio and Pennsylvania and on to the east, I'll bet you it was much worse. So it just tends to be, for a place that snows, it tends to be a little bit more temperate here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that I've helped a little bit. I feel like a lot of people don't even know about wool anymore. Older people do, because we had less things to keep us warm earlier. But anyway, I hope that this was helpful to you, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, and above all, stay warm. Thanks. Bye-bye.